Hello! How are you all doing? My name, as you probably know by now, is Fadoodle. I will be the lone stallion on the commentary team for your premium tier 1 action this evening. Around 7 PM British time we'll be kicking off our action today. It is the British Grand Prix, which is one of the few races that will have a sprint baked into this, so tyre strategies will be a little bit more simpler, as drivers will most likely want to be on the faster compound for the sprint and thus start the race on whatever appropriate tyres are necessary. Hence most of them will probably end up picking the soft tyres, I have a feeling. But with that all being said, internet audiences of the world, how are you all doing? If you're live on Twitch at hyper_tier_racing, you can talk to me live right now in the moment on Amazon's wonderful service. Whilst if you're on the Google side of things, watch back both at Racing on YouTube and for two. But first of all, stream chat of the internet. I had a right old issue last time where I went to myself and didn't realise that big up the head. So much gamer 220. Wow. Well, fair enough. I mean, could be one of the drivers that have become a mainstay in modern HTR. And ooh, my camera is. Are you getting lots of glitches on your screen, or is it just me? Twitch chat. Because for some reason my playback is not looking very good, and that is a big concern. That is for certain. Actually just going to adjust, what's it called, my playback to be on the safe side. So I assume then, Rocket League Gamer. Ah, it is you all as well. Right, that is a bit of a problem then. Okay, I will keep you all posted. I've lowered down my input in terms of consumption with networks and all that rubbish, so hopefully the pixels should start to be calming down and we should not have a massive test time continuum while... Oh, Franco, who are you feeling? Oh, for predictions! Oh, we're already starting off on a strong one. I have a feeling it's going to be positive. I'll tell you why. Last race for him didn't go perfectly. This time, you know, I find anyway that when you have a bad race, for most humans, especially our elitist ones, you will end up finding that they are even more driven. They might give, say, 140% over 120%, and that extra 20% of effort, placed appropriately, truthfully, Rocket League Gamer 222, whilst they've done a great job at not, you know, causing too many problems, and I am aware of presence, I have not seen them. Well, they've not been on my radar too much, so I personally do not have any active thoughts upon the head, if that is alright to Rocket League Gamer 222. Let me guess. I'm going to read into your mind, okay, and I'm going to assume you know who that is. And actually, one thought I have had on the head whilst we're talking about them, I assume they got their inspiration from the stick. Hello, 2 evenings from 8. Thank you both for watching this stream. I hope you'll be entertained, as I'm sure we will be. I mean, granted though, if you've not seen it, please go and watch both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 stream. When I did mine on Tier 1, I was losing breath. It was a genuine all-time race. I won't spoil it, but there was strategy, master drama. It was a true for the ages. I do say so myself. So you're just gonna have me and trust me that I know what I'm talking about on that is for certain. With that said though, let us roll through the usual kind of McGubbins about this kind of time. Be moving in the game itself. That probably makes life a bit easier rather than staring at a very nice car. In terms of the good old-fashioned standings and lineups, I'll review the latter first, once we can successfully join into the lobby. Who would have thought that trying to upload wiki, but it is all good. We have got positive tallow in the Mercedes. The head seems to be this particular stream's fan favourite alongside Kingly Garlic. They're one of our reserves, at least last time I recall. We've got Spenny and Andrea in the Alpine. Armour King. Hope I got that right. It's not sand, it's San. And Hurricane in the Alpha Grid, and Matthew Romeo with Sam, Phoenix in the Haas, and Creations and Pepski in the Williams. So those are your lineups for this wonderful evening, I'm sure of it, and I hope all these drivers will be looking forward to going lights out and Oasis will do the main race and the sprint. So with that said, in terms of how this race is going to go, we will have a qualifying session, then a short 5-lap race, and that race will determine the grid for the main Grand Prix itself. If I turn off this thing, that might make the process a bit more smoother for you all, but I will see what happens, of course, as for some reason. Oui, from France, fascinating, fantastique, absolutely, and it's great stuff there. So let me just do that and that. Right, okay then. Kingly Garlic and the head are Red Bull drivers. Yes. Oh, that's good to know, because I knew the head was, but Kingly Garlic and the contract. Life's just been a little bit intense, and so apologies. Wowzers, I think we're getting a very strong favourite this one, which is great. I always love seeing, you know, different drivers get the spotlight. I think it gets a bit boring when the same ones are brought up in conversation every single time. It's always good to get some different ones through the chat, as it is raining. But, oh, we've got a driver moving, so we'll find out what tyres they're on. Immediate, it seems, for now, which will possibly incline that it is going to start out in the light rain conditions, and it could either stay the same, get worse and go into full wet weather, which means the drivers need to get a move on, or ascend to fully dry conditions. We'll just have to find out what happens, as one of the Alpines of Pakistan was the first to get a move on. Indeed, well, it's going to be a fun stream, I am sure, for the head. I'll make sure watching to get all the love possible from your favourite head in the whole of the HTR community. It is a bit, oh, that's interesting to say, the fact it is laggy, and I'll excuse the French you've decided to use there. So if I turn this off, that should stop the process from it getting too annoying. Hopefully, that should start to improve the stream, if I'm not mistaken. If it doesn't, keep spamming me in the chat if it's still a pain in the neck, but I believe that now should have solved all our lovely problems this evening. I'm really just trying to find... Ah, there it is. Not gonna lie, hearing double vision of the same driver and audio from both my monitor, my headphones, it can get a bit repetitive, that is for certain. So, let us see what the American is going to do. The first car out on track, Pakistan, as Druid is disconnected at the moment, but he should rejoin in a due course. Starting their first of, I'm sure, many flying laps, as everybody is on intermediates, there's no need to point out the tyres as of this moment, but braking around the time when you see that curve there. Done excellently by Pakistan. Interestingly, not fully using the curve, the width of that corner, but to be honest with you, if you use too much of it, your car can go a bit wrong. No! Says 8 Data and Alpha for the win. Oh, there's a yellow flag in Sector 1, but I think it is just people letting each other through, so nothing to... Oh, it's actually Spenny who's decided to play stop. Ah, they just want that slipstream. Fair enough. Fair enough. It's a fascinating move of sitting there on the grid, but hey, each to their own, each to their own. But Pakistan will see how competitive their time is once all the other drivers have set it their fastest times throughout the session, and something tells me the rain does look like it's getting drier. It's not quite soft weather, I believe, but Pakistan has sadly invalidated their run, so we'll move on to the next car, who's about to set a time in Smidgy 19, one of the Aston Martin drivers who has, through raw consistency, as a great moral introduced by the league admins for the new season with the all new and improved point system, has put themselves right back into the title. Hi. As it is a 139.4 there, but Matthew immediately just smashes that to pieces with a 136.2. Goodness me, and there's more fuel for Matthew, but the champ, oh, the reigning champion gets a very good wiggle on there, but manages to save the car as Druid has rejoined. Andreas set it at 36.9, the head sets at 37.1, Croatian sets at 1 minute to 37.2, and Kevin was in 5th, but now is bested by Hurricane. Meanwhile, further down the track, Spenny will start their flying lap in a short while, whilst Basketball Dan in the Alpine is coming around the track. So Sam obviously had an off there. Pepski said a 1 minute 37.1, but only 4 thousandths faster than the head. So obviously it is a very interesting time indeed for the head, who's done a great job in this qualifying session so far. But Basketball Dan only in 8th. Ignore the timing board there with a 137.2. Right, who has not set a run? Sand Badger is coming across the line now in their very nice helmet. It's going to be around the final corner. A 136.1, which is provisional pole position here as it stands. Croatians is set to go 5/10 faster, so could the track be drying out? We'll find out in a moment, as Pakistan has gone faster at a 136.8, so possibly the conditions could be getting dry, but again, I do not know, I'm just the commentator around here. Smidgy said a 139.4, has their fastest. Sam W11 is improving by 21 seconds, which I think is a good sign of things to come, which could place them into and around the top 10 region, of course, give or take, depending on what happens. But with all that said, they're going to come through the second to last corner, get a good exit on there, and it is now a 137.0 there. 21 seconds faster in 6th place for the Haas driver. Croatians taking an interesting line through there. Who is next to ride? Oh, Spenny invalidated their lap. There's a yellow flag, but no caution as it stands, or any serious danger anyway. It's just the cars letting each other through. Oh, but Sam's gone a little bit wide there, probably to let other cars through. Right, the head has peeled into the pits, and let us see what is going to happen here with Smidgy, who last lap's at a 1 minute 39, which for the driver who's currently leading the whole of the standings would be a crying shame if they could not qualify better than 13th. A veteran of the HTR community. They're going to roll around the final corner now, get a beautiful exit, and that is a 137.9 there, but Matthew has got even faster with a 135.8. Where's he getting this from? Honestly, we know it's hard, sweat, blood and tears, but yeah, it is shocking to see such an improvement from an already stupidly fast lap time, at least when you compared it to the first run set. Andrea is leaving the pit lane now. Who is on a fast run as it stands? Who is on a oh, Smidgy is... Let me just have a look at the field. As Spenny's gone into 2nd place, I just want to check. Oh yeah, he's definitely on a few more runs. But Spenny has set a 135.9 So we could have a contender here for pole position. It's not going to be a runaway freight train. Let's get a good start, HSD, says Franco. Oh wow, he seemed to have got a massive following overnight, which is fantastic stuff to watch. We've also got AJ, 12314. Thank you so much for coming. Indeed, I think we're getting a lot of head supporters. What are you all feeling? The head, shoulders, knees and toes are? We'll have a look at Garlic up into P4 there, which was an excellent run by them. As Smidgy is just rolling around the corner, is going a second faster. As Druid has popped himself into 6th, Smidgy 10th, but Matthew's got even faster with a 1 minute 35.4. Wowzers. Anybody daring for the softs? No, not that I can spot anyway. It is still intermediates. Just wondering if someone's going to do the really crazy gamble. But Spenny is going 6 tenths up here. This could easily be enough for pole position. Beautiful eggs. Oh, but it's invalidated. And oh, the McLaren was so close to being on a genuinely fast run. But alas, they cut that final corner. What about the Kingly Garlic here? The other Red Bull driver. Rolls around the final corner. And that is an okay-ish exit, if I say so, better than I could ever achieve. And Garlic is going to come into the pit lane. Right, Druid is next, improving about by half a tenth. Pepski's invalidated. Andrea is going a whole second a lap faster here. So that could easily put them into, and there's a yellow flag around the top of the field. It is Matthew on pole as it stands. Oh, interestingly, so Positive is now in 4th with a 136.3, and Thallo is into 5th with a 136.4 there. In fact, the exact same time as Kingly Garlic. Interestingly enough, your fun fact for the day. Even though in theory Garlic should have the position because he set it faster, but anyway, it's only qualifying in a sprint weekend. It does not matter so much. We have got a Positive stand in the chat as well. In the newfound order of heads, it seems. We'll roll on board to Kevin Annihilator, who is the next to complete their lap time. And as it stands, they're going to roll through this corner. A little bit of an interesting line there. I think maybe could have been a little bit more wider. But it was a good run through the corner, and it's 10th place for one of the duo owners of HTR with a 136.7. Right, who is the fastest driver on a hot run? I think it's the Sound Badger at the moment. As Sound Badger has got up by 0.3 of a second. So that's interesting stuff to see. Just remember, stream chat, we're here to spread the Formula love and not the Formula hate. However, we'll roll through the final set of corners with the Sound Badger, who did chop across quite aggressively there. That could compromise them dearly, but it still put them into 2nd place there with a 135.6. Not a bad run. Garlic is on an outrun. Sam is on a chilled run. Kevin Annihilator is 3,000s down throughout the first 2 sectors. Andrea is going up by a second, interestingly enough. So let's see what the McLaren driver can do. Getting a toe from their teammate, and oh, it's a massive shunt, and oh, they've just dropped it on their own. Oh, that's a big shot into the wall, and that's Andrea's session over. The Italian must be frustrated there, that's for certain. Lucky to not take anybody out, given how close the pit lane is there in that situation. But the head taking evasive action, who must have also spun in the background and whose tyres are very warm for some interesting reason. But yes, that is what it is. We've then got, let's see what the Sand Badger could do. Last time they did get into 2nd at all. It's catching out a few drivers. They run into the gravel, but do an excellent job at car control to not cook the tyres and to not spin out and to not crash into the wall. Excellent stuff there by the Sand Badger. Meanwhile, Spenny is going up by about half a second here, which could be an extreme improvement, all things considered. If they can find that half a second, that would put them on pole with Matthew as it stands. The only driver yet to set times are Phoenix and Garlic, so that's an interesting situation. But I'm sure they're timing this to perfection as the rain droplets are starting to calm down a little bit. And by that I only mean 1%. There's not really much else going on this evening. But Spenny is rolling through the corner. And now braking at those Fanatec sponsored meter boards. Oh, that's a bit of an aggressive corner chop, but if it works for them, who am I to judge? It's going to be a 1:35.2. That is provisional pole for the McLaren driver. The only one left in the session, but it could be that lap that separates pole from second place in the grid for the sprint race. Meanwhile, Creations is about to go 6/10 faster. That could massively improve their odds and moving up the order. That puts them into 4th there with a 1:35.7. Excellent stuff there, creating a good start possibly for the sprint race. Is the Williams driver. Right, Druids are going up by a 10th. Let us see. We've not seen Pepski yet. We have not seen Pepski at the moment, at least set a full-time run. He is up 0.3 of a second through the first 2 sectors, so that could jump the Williams into and around P8, P7, maybe even P6 if they can find all of the beans. They're still feeling confident about their run. They were thinking about going into the pits lane, but they decided against it, as now they're going to roll through the second to last corner, then the final one, and that is going to be a 1:36.7. Lost a lot of that time, sadly, so that's no good for them. Armakinga has gone into 14th place there with a 1:36.8. Oh dear. But they invalidated the run, so it's not a big issue. Kingly Garlic is the next to be... Actually, I think he's the next driver to be on a run, as Matthew 7034 could take pole position. Not quite, that was obviously they obviously invalidated their run, and they have got a few laps of fuel left, so that could be, with only 1:42 left to go in the session, enough to take them to the very, very end. Right. Oh, Pakafan, they're going up by 0.4. Excellent stuff there from the American driver. Whilst we're trying to see if anybody is within Sector 3, but I do not believe that is the case, as Kingly Garlic sets a 1:36.8, but he was invalidated. Spenny's retired! Oh, Spenny has crashed! It's double disaster for the McLarens, and surely, as Sandbadger set a 35.6, this is going to be the news. If you're an Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, Williams or Mercedes fan, you absolutely want to hear, because now both McLarens can only hope and pray they get a P1 and a P15 at best for the sprint. Sandbadger is going up 0.4 for that first sector alone. That would easily be enough to take pole position. If they can maintain it throughout the next couple of sectors is a different story. Pepski's gone into 2nd incredibly with a 1:36.3 and has just got enough fuel in the tank and time to set another one. There's only 30 seconds left in the session now, so these drivers have to get a bit of a shimmy on. Armakinga going up 1/10 there to move themselves into 12th place. And I think the session will end in about 17 seconds now. So let us see what they end up doing, as Matthew just about gets the car over the line with 9 seconds to spare for Sandbadger. This will have to be the final run here, and they have lost about 0.2, so that could be enough. As all, they've gone horribly wide. That's invalidated the run. Okay, one less challenge of a pole position then. What can Creations do in the Williams? The number 78 driver is rolling around the last corner, and it's only a 35.7. Not good enough. But somehow their AI can do another lap time. Okay. Positive is feeling positive at the moment, going up by another 10th, but it's not going to be enough. It improves the time. No changes for Thallow, no changes for Sam. Pepski is looking like to go up a 10th, but again, they invalidated their lap time. So let us see now as Hurricane Gets a bit skirmish on the rear, but sets a 1:36.5, enough to get into 10th place there. And Smidgy looks like they'll be able to go up by 5/10 here. 8/10 actually from the final sector. That's put them into 5th place with a 1:36.0. Fantastic stuff from the Aston Martin there. And the Garlic not setting a lap time. I wonder, that's going to be very interesting. But Matthew is invalidated, so despite crashing, Spenny F1, unless if we get a miracle, is on pole position here. And that, I'm sure if you're a McLaren fan, must be a huge sign of relief. Sigh of relief. There's no signs of relief, last time I checked anyway. Oh, and the headers smashed themselves off. Clearly a little bit under pressure with all their newfound fame. So the grid then for the sprint race will be Spenny, Formula 1 on pole position with Matthew in 2nd place, Sand Badger and Creations on the 2nd row with Smidgy in 5th and Positive in 6th. Packafan all line up in 7th place alongside Pepski in 8th. Kevin Annihilator, the Aston Martin team principal, is in 9th alongside Thallow in 10th, who just said the same lap time, so their AI has obviously been a bit suspicious. Hurricane will be the first outside of the top 10 in 11th alongside Sam W11, Armour Kinga in 13th with Druid in 14th place, Basketball Dan in 15th, Andre is in 16th, Jerka in 17th, Phoenix in 18th. The Head is 19th, leading an all Red Bull row 10 with Kingly Garlic in 20th place. What do you all think of that qualifying session? And so, I'm sure if you're a McLaren fan, this will be a good image to take a hold of. One of your orange cars on pole position. But the drivers know what happened. But obviously, we don't know what... Or we don't know what the weather's going to be. But the drivers certainly do know what the weather is going to be. For the first race anyway, the sprint, but we do not know as the audience what the weather will be until when we jump into the session ourselves there. Interesting to see that in the wet, 1 second covers the top 7, and interestingly the field spread, for your curiosity, was down to 1.9 seconds, nearly 2 from the head there. In terms of the incidents, because I'm sure they'll want me to log them all down, there you go. Surprisingly not as much as what I thought for some reason when looking through them all. But when we are given full-on permission to get going, we will start the British sprint race at Tier 1 for Hyper Tier Racing there. As my fluffy dog has come in to say hello, but she just needs a bit of company, and I do not blame her, because we all need a bit of company at the end of the day, don't we? Don't we? Need company. Yes, we do. Actually, stream chat, I wonder if I can figure out here maybe a fancy little tool on Twitch, but if I can get this to work how I think it should work, then if we could pop in a nice... Oh, here we go. I figured something out. So, I'll see if we can get this going. But I'll make sure to leave it in as a video comment afterwards. I'm going to make a very simple poll here, alright? Who do you think is going to... Actually, no. which team is going to win the British Sprint GP? And I will write down the 10 options. We've got our Mercedes, obviously, we've got our Red Bull, and we've got... I'll actually put down the 3 at the front, but again, it's all very hard to tell, so I'm going to put down for this lobby McLaren, Alfa Romeo, and I think we'll go Williams, because their drivers are both very... Actually, no, we can do multiple. Alright, cool, we can write down all 10 teams then. I cannot advance through the lobby, so I'm just going to have to kind of wait as we kind of find out what is going on. But just sit tight with us, and I'm sure we will be able to... I'm going to move on again. We're here to spread the Formula love and not Formula hate, obviously. I did have to, unfortunately, live on air ban some individuals who had a little bit of case of bit of blinding support there, and giving Formula hate to others is not acceptable, as the lobby has started but everybody has gone, so I fully suspect that the lobby is officially going to be restarted. I'm going to stick around just so the admins can get their lovely fancy grid, and then... Actually no, they already got it from the qualifying tower. What am I even saying? But anyway, I'll just log down the last 2 teams for the poll that I need to construct, and then we will be good to go. Oh yeah, it is Red Bull, there's option number 9. There's a team I'm missing here, and I'm not sure which one it is. Of course, I forgot the most obvious one. Right, let's add this system to create the poll. And I'm now going to share the poll with you all live. So there you are, you've got your poll. And I'd like to see who you all, as a community, think is going to win this wonderful Grand Prix. I think everybody got, from what I can understand, a bit of a black screen of death there. Just like a television set after shuts down. For those of you who remember of a certain age where television would not last all day every day, when you couldn't even... use it all the time. But there we are. We've got an incredible 21 of you. Wow, thank you all so much. I'm so honoured that all of you are watching this stream. I didn't expect us to get that many, not gonna lie, considering it's round number 8. But yes, please go and vote upon the poll that I've just created, and we can all speculate and analyse who we think is going to win. So, as it stands... Aha, there we go. That's the option I want to see. So at the moment we've got a split on the polarity results between Red Bull and Mercedes there, interestingly. According to the board account though, results, so for those of you who are more into analytics, you'll figure this out better than I, but... Yes, okay, I don't want to provide a survey, no offense. Sorry company, I'm using this off. I'm not really a fan. We've got 5% of you think McLaren are going to win the race. That is a very interesting shout, bearing in mind they do have the driver who, for the sprint race, is on pole position. So that does surprise me a little bit. Alpine are sitting in 8th with, what, a third of the vote. AlphaTauri have a fourth of your vote, according to the rankings, because you can all adjust the order. Ferrari, Williams and Aston Martin and Red Bull share 61.11% each, with Alfa Romeo getting 72.2% of your vote. But the most popular team to win is the Mercedes team, with 94.44% at the top of your sheet. So that is always fascinating to see. Would you all agree with that, stream chat? Yes, do not forget, stream chat, you can go live and engage with this lovely poll, allowing you all to get involved with the action directly, to speculate on who you think who you think is going to win this wonderful Grand Prix. So it is all good, I think. If it doesn't work, that's fine, but I always try and keep creating, recreating and making the system as best as I can. But I think now that we've got all 21 individuals inside the lobby, we should be now ready to rock and roll for the debut of the British Sprint GP. If that doesn't work, I found another one, so with the British, I'm going to put Grand Prix overall. If that's the sprint race poll, I'm going to put down this as the team's poll, and for the whole of the Grand Prix, I've just got to log down the way of remembering each of these wonderful 10 brightly powered super machines. Okay, the next option should be Alpine, and then Aston Martin, and then Williams, and then actually, do you know what I could just do instead? Is just try and actually, let's strange that. Apologies for this stream chat, it seems to be a little bit temperamental. Hello, Will. Nice to see you're here. What is good? What is not good about life? I mean, yes, there's a lot of sucky parts, but life is a wonderful thing. Whether you think it's good or not to be a human, I mean, life generally allows you to have a series of memories and leave an incredible legacy behind you. I mean, the likes of Fangio, I bet you know, had he been, you know, racing in the late 80s, early 90s, the type that F1 really likes to milk nowadays, I am willing to bet his legacy today would be right up there with the likes of Hamilton's and Schumacher's, at least within my humble opinion. Oh, that seemed to turn a few people off. But the weather is dry for this sprint race, and of course, as such, all the drivers will be on soft tyres. Again, normally the drivers will be like, "Oh, you're revealing our strategy." But in a 5-lap race, you have to start on the softest compound possible. You cannot start on anything but that type of tyres. And then lastly, if I can eventually get around to clicking on it, yes, there we go. Yes, there we are. Alright, I'm going to create this thing. If it will allow me to create, that would be very nice. But it might require a lot of spamming, and eventually the computer will work. What's my prediction, Alex? Well, as I said at the start, I had a feeling Positive was going to win after the stuff they went through last time, and I have a feeling they might do a similar thing here today. But we're going to go underway as the lights are out and away they crawl. It's going to be the McLaren of spinning the leaders. Oh, bit of contact there between Matthew and the Badger. They're side by side. I think the Ferrari is through. It's 3 wide going to turn 2. Oh, there's a huge smash. Sound Badger and Matthew have collided. And the Alfa Romeo, and there's Basketball Dan off in the background as well. Oh, not the cleanest of starts, I've got to say. I think that was a reset by Phoenix there, but Matthew's got it all to do. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it is Sound Badger who stays in second as Spenny leads from Creations. Then it is Smidgy, then Positive in 5th, followed by Packerfan in 6th. There's a bit of action going on now as Hurricane has to take a little bit wide there to defend against Pepsi, but the Williams is up into 9th. Hurricane now will try to go around the inside of Cop's corner. Oh, this is not going to end well, surely. I think Hurricane does decide to back off. Very smart move. Meanwhile, Armour King is making a move on Andrea round the left-hand side of the left-right. Left complex right is always what you like to see. As the Williams on got an excellent trade for 9th. No overtakes going on further afield, so it looks like Hurricane is going to use all their ERS to sail right past the Williams there of Pepsi, and that is not a bad manoeuvre if I do say so myself for the AlphaTauri driver. Meanwhile, Armour Kinger is on a bit of a charge, and oh dear, Sam has been taken out, it seems. Was minding his own business, and I think the McLaren came wrecking in like a Miley Cyrus music video, and I think the head has been decapitated out of contention as well. It's never what you like to see, but alas, Dan has got a 2-second time penalty, which is something you never like to see. The Druid was also involved in the lap 1 carnage, and as such has had to make a pit stop, but it is a very comfortable lead for Spenny as it stands over the Sandbadger and then Creations. As the Sandbadger's disconnected, oh dear, their internet has gone awry, and that's surely the music Creations and his train behind will want to hear. Meanwhile, Thallow is doing the best to defend from positive. Plakafan, sorry, to keep his team, his boss happy. Kingly Garlic has a 2-second time penalty in the non-decapitated Red Bull. As Armour Kinger has picked up a 2-second time penalty, driving in the Ferrari there, but Kingly Garlic is siphoning their way through. Didn't do qualifying, interestingly, or didn't get a lap in, but has more than made up with it with the start. Up to 11th, there's the Head and Sam have both got penalties respectively of 2 seconds apiece, as Sandbadger's trying to rejoin, but Creations is seeking to get past as soon as possible because he knows this could be a nightmare otherwise, and he has successfully done it. There's nothing Sandbadger can do but to just sit there and watch as his AI ghost car will just let them all through like it's a family reunion picnic. And the Spenny is now being hunted down by Creations as the drag reduction system is enabled. Smidgy is in fourth, but Sandbadger is back and he's in third. Meanwhile, Positive, is he going to try a move around the outside? Not quite, going to cut in a little bit tight. I don't think got the best exit though to sadly allow for DRS, but Smidgy is susceptible here, but he's not using DRS. Positive is burning through a lot of the stuff, but cannot get past. Meanwhile, looks like Hurricane thinking of a move. Kevin Annihilator going very defensive around the outside, as he's entitled to do, and so he will stay into 8th place. Meanwhile, I think Pep's got a bit of a bad line, and Kingly Garlic was very keen on making the move. He's going to keep trying it, but nothing yet. And in the background, after being punter-rooned to last place, as Druid has seemingly retired, or had a bit of a spinala there, Matthew has recovered from last to 12th place. My oh my, he's got a lot of determination to still remain focused at this stage, but it's going to be 3 wide. Pepski is going to be sandwiched by an Alfa Romeo and a Red Bull. Matthew has got past him, and so is the Garlic. That means he is sitting there with all the tears that you get when you chop it up raw garlic, because Pepski has lost 2 positions and doesn't even get the free tyre choice element, since we'll be opening a new lobby where all tyre compounds are reset anyway. So a massive shame that... Oh, Phoenix getting a bit wobbly there. But Spenny is in the lead at the moment, with the other McLaren setting the fastest lap of the race with the 1:27.7 so far. Sandbadger in second, Creations in third, Smidgy in fourth. There's a yellow flag behind, it's Andrea! That's Andrea. But I think they're okay. I cannot see any front wing damage, so their car's alright. And, oh, he's getting overtaken by the Haas there of Sam, who does an excellent job, even if it's only for 17th place. Right, this train here is something I'm sure some of the drivers behind will want to clear as soon as possible. Phoenix has got a 2-second time penalty. Thallow takes a very wide but legal corner cut there through that corner. But with that said, Thallow, oh, Druid's got a 3-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane and has retired in the session. Got into the pit lane and retired from the sprint race, so we'll hopefully see them back in just a few minutes' time. But Thallow's going to go for a move, goes very aggressive on the grass, really determined to get past the championship leader, knows how much it will help the boss if he is slowed down to a crawl like a green snail puking up ooze, and it has worked successfully. Teal has beaten green at the British sprint race. We're on to the final lap. The battle for fourth could be decisive at the start of the race. Now, we saw some great teamwork by the Mercedes in Tier 1. As, oh, it looks like he's about to get double overtaken. Smidgy determined not to give this up, but Thallow just about gets ahead. This is to the disadvantage of him though, because now as Positive successfully defends from Packervan, this means that Smidgy will go around the outside with DRS. and has successfully made the move for 4th place. Wow, overtaken the sprint race. I produced so myself. Meanwhile, Positive's desperately trying to fight Packerfan, who the other Aston Martin, Kevin Elias, is getting pushed by Hurricane, but I'd say pretty fairly. Bit of a chop there from the Tottenham supporter, but I think that was alright, not too aggressive. And so Positive maintains 6th with Packerfan 7th, Hurricane 8th, and Kevin Annihilator 9th. But he has got some ERS left. There's no point burning it all now. He's just practically sitting there waiting for that ERS to be used up by the AlphaTauri driver. But it has been a flawless sprint race, and I'm sure one performance they'll be hoping to carry into the main one. Spenny Formula 1 has just got 2 right-handers to negotiate, and as long as he does not fluff it up, which he does not, he will win the sprint race for McLaren and take a precious 3 points in the standings there. Sam Badger in 2nd, Creations gets 3rd, Thallow is in 4th. Oh, Smidgy retired across the line, but he just about finished. That is very interesting as Jurgen picks up a 2-second time penalty. Thallow's in 4th, Smidgy in 5th. Oh, whoa, takes out Andrea there, but I don't think it matters since both still finished at the time they crossed. Positive in 6th, Packerfan 7th, Kevin Annihilator 8th, Hurricane 9th, Matthew in 10th after the spinneroo from lap 1, turn 1. Actually, turn 2 technically, no, in fact, is Britain. No, it's turn 3 actually, because you do the right and the left and then, yeah. Pepski in 11th, King Garlic in 12th, Chirka in 13th, Army King in 14th, Andrea in 15th, Basketball Dan in 16th, The Head is in 17th with Sam 18th, Phoenix 19th, who's about to cross the line now, and Druid 20th place. What do you all think of that one? Smidgy's gonna win feature. Interesting there, Tom. I think he definitely showed a lot of fight, didn't he? In the Aston Martin driver. I do not blame you for that prediction. Indeed, Tom. It was, well, if you're an Alfa Romeo fan, sorry, Beta Romeo, sorry, as the AlphaTauri team principal. Yeah, it's definitely not a good start for the boys. But to be fair to Matthew, he did an incredible drive to get himself from last to 10th place in 5 laps. I mean, fair play, fair play. Sam Badger's lucky is not in existence. Ooh. Oh, that is very true. That is very true. But to be fair though, he did get a 2nd in the sprint, so not too bad in the end. Aww. I think he did, Grumpy, but to be honest with you, I don't think it would matter anyway, since all the cars finished across the line, Grumpy, so I don't think it would matter. But your grid then, for the not the sprint race, the feature race, if you will. We've got Spenny Formula 1 on pole position from Sam Badger in 2nd place, Creations in 3rd, Thallow in 4th, Smidgy in 5th, Positive in 6th, Packerfan 7th, Kevin Annihilator 8th, Hurricane 9th, Matthew in 10th, Pepski 11th, Kingly Garlic 12th, Jeg 13th, Amber King 14th, Andrea 15th, Basketball Dan in 16th, The Head 17th, Sam 18th, Phoenix 19th, and Druid 20th place. With that said, how do you all feel about that one? Was that a nice warm-up in terms of the sprint? Did you all enjoy yourselves on that one? Yeah, for some reason my poll idea has kind of fallen apart due to the software not being as ideal as initially conceived. So, the grid is now being made up for our 20 drivers to go and compete this evening. We're getting a Smidgy win, but mine, I have to say, has to be... I'm gonna still roll with Positive. I don't have any reason to back down from mine, you know, I don't, personally. Showed a lot of fight. We didn't quite see the Mercedes team play magic in its fullest, because Smidgy was very aggressive there at the final lap, but none of the cars got damaged, so it's all alright in the end. As far as I could see, there was no damage given to any of the cars, so yes, that was pretty eventful British sprint race. If I do say so myself, I just like the real life one, but probably better because it's a video game. When it comes to actually the tier 1 standings, you're gonna have to forgive me because my own machine is getting a little bit slow in just simply trying to read the standings. I know, the modern complexities of life, am I right? But if we scroll down, we can eventually find, yeah, for some reason it just does not want to work, and I have the faintest idea as to why. Because on my computer, I know it's a bit off topic, but my computer is having a little bit of trouble when it comes to, not to do with the main operating system, but with applications like Chrome, Edge. The actual applications inside of them seem to be a little bit of a case of I do not want to work itis, so it's all interesting stuff indeed. But whilst I'm checking for that, I'm getting no comments from the stream chat. Remember, if you do ever feel so generous to give us any money, because we massively appreciate it, you can always do so by subscribing to our channel on the Twitch page, as you can see live. The subscription costs only about £3.19 per month for one subscription, and I would say 400 odd for like pounds for 100 subs, but I don't really see the need to buy 100 subscriptions. Don't forget as well, you get 20% off your first one, so that's always a good sign. Meow. Why is that? That was the gimmick from. There was a Mario game where all the characters were cats, wasn't there? Oh yeah, 3D World. Oh yeah, I remember seeing all the trailers for it back in the days where I unfortunately, instead of buying an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, decided to bet on Nintendo doing well and bought a Nintendo Wii U, which was an interesting experience. But I finally got to play F1 2009 in HD. So I think it had some upsides to it. Oh, glad to see you made yourself a burrito there, Tom. That is all good to see. Getting a lot of Aston Martin support as well. I mean, to be fair, both Aston Martins did well, so I could understand why there may be a good position coming on the cards for the Aston Martin drivers, if I do say so myself. It's great to see Pakfan you're in. How did you feel after the sprint race, follow drive? You had a good battle there with Positive, didn't you, Pakfan? And if you leave your response in stream chat, that would be absolutely wonderful. With that said, though, I am going to just make sure that my life has told me that nobody has bothered to talk to me, which during recordings is always the preferred approach. Allowing the commentator in question to focus entirely on their craft. That is, relaying a bunch of information to you at the speed of human communication. Good, I'm glad you found it alright. I thought, I mean, to be fair, I thought it was definitely a good race there. From your POV, but there's still a main race to go, and that is the main kind of prize position, is it not? Anyway, sorry about that, fellas. Believe it or not, despite my checking, a human wanted to talk to me. I know, insane, but little do they know, they need to go to hyper_tier_racing on Twitch to catch wherever I'm going around 7 PM on Mondays at British time, and then 7 PM on Tuesdays. You'll be getting the Aston Martin team principal's lovely voice, Kevin Annihilator, there, doing the Tuesday commentary, slots and positions. With that said, I think the grid's still being shuffled, so we've got ourselves a steward in attendance, and an administrator to shuffle the grid and make sure it is all right at the end of the day. But on the topic of burritos, I think we need to do a special game, because we've not done this in a while. I think, team, we need to make our favourite burrito, right? Stream chat, we need to make the best burrito ever seen. So first of all, I have to ask, and all you got to do in this game is just type down to the following questions, alright? It's one of those simple games. The first thing you need to do is to let me know what kind of bread will the burrito be based on? Like, what kind of bread will you be holding when you are eating it? Oh yes, 8 data. We did it with the ultimate cake in the F2 race last season at Monza, actually, the very famous race where there was a very popular clip by our standards of the two Campos drivers feeling a little bit too much side effects of Estrella Galathea. But yeah, so what kind of bread would you put, or what kind of burrito bread or, you know, compound would you use to make that wonderful type of sandwich? Any answers? It doesn't even have to be a logical one, right? As long as it's not a swear or a slur, I will accept it on. Tortillas! Alright, we'll roll with that. So the burrito then is going to be made of tortillas. Now, obviously the tortillas are going to be somehow, through the magic of connection, connected together. Now we've got to figure out what we're going to put inside the burrito. Alright, so we need to figure out what are we going to put in this burrito. Now, bearing in mind, a burrito can only hold so many things, so I'm actually going to say about 3... No, we'll do 4 things. Food, that is a very good question, Grumpy, but we need to know what type of food, because it could be, I don't know, water. That would be a very unhappy burrito. Starting P6, finishing P6. Well, at least it's consistent, positive. At least it is consistent. Okay, we got carne asada as the first filler inside of our burrito. Alright, we need 3 more. A positive. Oh, I'm going to put in a positive herb. That's what I'm going to put in, Grumpy. So, a positive herb and carne asada. More bread. I'm going to roll with that suggestion. We've got multiple here. About burritos, positive. We need to make the ultimate. There we are. We'll roll with that. So it's going to be an incredible burrito consisting of more bread, carne asada, and wet tissues. So I think that should made out of tortillas or magically glued together, and that is the HTR burrito mascot. I'm surprised the admins never did anything with the cake idea. Hopefully they will take a page out of this one and do something cool with burritos. Alas, we will save the eating of it for the Mexican Grand Prix. Actually, what do you all think of Taco Bell? I've never actually been there myself. And of course, remember, it is a feature race, so the drivers, because obviously they had to start on softs, those outside of the top 10 will get any choice of tyres, but the top 10 in front, unlike usual, where the type of tyre they qualify on is what they have to start on, this time that's not the case, because obviously it's a brand new lobby, it's a brand new session in the game's code, so all the drivers will get the magical reset that they need, and a formation lap should be turned on. I believe so, but I will keep my eyes peeled to make sure that we are not proven wrong in this situation. You're just going to have to bear with me on this one. Legendary, good stuff. Alright, that's interesting you say, because didn't they go for a recent logo change? I noticed studying logo devolution, I like to call it, because logos are not really evolving. Most of them are just getting more progressively worse. Ah, yeah, I know the pain. But can you not order it through delivery services anyway? 8 data, HTR. 5 Guys is better. Well, okay, so what happened to the 6th guy then, Alex? That's my only question about 5 Guys. Oh, we've got a big insider report. It's going to start off dry, and it's going to pour down like the sky is falling, just like an Adele song. Oh, this should be an interesting one, I think. The formation lap should come on any moment now. Interestingly, every driver can choose whatever tyre they want, as the strategies are mostly one-stops, from soft to medium tyres there. But I'm going to turn off the interval gap because I don't think it really matters on a formation lap. Instead, talk about tyres. So, with that said, Spenny has opted to keep the softs. Creations and Thallow have gone for the mediums. I think you guys seem to be 5 guys, but at the moment there's only 3 guys. 3 guys, so, you know, 3 people. 3 guys who agree on it. So can we have 2 more people who like 5 guys, and then we can have a 5 guys who like 5 guys. Reference in the chat. Smidgey's gone to the softs. Positive, Packafan, and Sound Badger are on the mediums. Kevin on Kevin on a ventilator does not sound like a good phrase. I do not hope ever will come. I don't know what my brain was trying to say. 5 guys equals a bank loan. Oh, jeepers creepers. Kev alongside Hurricane will be on the softs. Matthew's on the mediums. Pepski is on the softs with Kingly, Garlic, Jerker, and Arm King are on the mediums. And everybody from Andrea right the way down to Phoenix will be starting the race on the soft tyres there. Right, I am now being kind of forced, but kind of advised through watching. It's made all in peanut oil. That is fascinating to know, Grumpy. I would have never figured out that peanut oil makes a vast chunk of the 5 guy of potatoes. Oh, sorry, I'm being special again. I forgot. Sorry about that. What I should probably focus on the main race, bearing in mind that our race, sprint race winner, Spenny, is just about lining up to the grid right now and has pulled a bit of an advantage here, so we will join on board with the last place car. Oh, as Druid's taken a bit of a rally course, that's going to stuff over their tyres pretty bad, bearing in mind obviously the soft tyres will be going a little bit longer in the race. Now with the Hassers lining up on the grid along with the Alfa Romeo, we should be ready to go in any given moment. As that very big roar of the V6 engine sits there, I mean it's not as loud as what it used to be, but it's certainly louder than a Formula E race, as the 10 red dots come on for the start of this British Grand Prix. Oh, of course not. The game does not actually want to do it, does it? No, it's just... we're just going to have to sit there for a moment, lads, whilst the game actually gets going. Just going to have to sit there and patiently wait until when the game gets rocking and rolling, because for some reason it likes to wait for some interesting reason that I will never understand. Even though the last car's already been on the grid for ages now, but I think it's just a couple of connection issues and we'll be good to go. Right, I'm going to bet my money on the Mercedes team principal positive, but I'm sure we've got a smidgy vote here. Aston Martin could do well. Who knows what is going to happen in this nutty Grand Prix that is the British Grand Prix indeed. And with a bit of rain set to come down at the end, I'm sure it's going to be one that will be remembered in the hearts and minds of everything. If it's anything like Austria, I'm really going to have no throat left at the end of this to do anything. So if I have to have a sore throat whilst battling life tomorrow, now I know what to express my thought, to take it to, as the 10 red dots are slowly going to come on. They all turn red. They disappear and it's lights out, away they pub crawl. Here comes the McLaren charging off into turn 1 and they've got a successful lead. Meanwhile, Creations has done a good job in second. The Mercedes are Thallows in third. From Smidgey in fourth. There's no carnage in the main race, as far as I can see. There's a bit of dust kicking up. Whoa, and Alpine's taking out a signboard, I think it is. Whoa, Basketball Dad wrecking it up like a Miley Cyrus music video. But has been ping-pong slightly, but no cars out just at this moment. Maybe bar the Haas there, but Spenny is in the lead from Creations. Again, Creations should not really attack Spenny, bearing in mind he's on the softs. He's on, you know, his opponent's on the softs, I should say. He's on the medium, so it doesn't really matter too hard. As the Aston Martin's up into third place on those soft tyres against Thallow. Yeah, of course, you know, whilst Thallow and Smidgey are both very similar paced, obviously mediums are going to make any driver a bit slower, aren't they? As was a lot of weaving there by the Mercedes TP. Hurricane doing an excellent job there at 4-5. About 6th place with, I believe, Packafan, that is, in 7th. Kevin Annihilator doing great in 8th, as I can see. Matthew, pretty okay start in 9th there, climbing up 1 spot. Pepsi in 10th. Positive seeming to have a bit of a tumble down the order. I'm not sure how that happens. King is in 11th. Druid looks like to make a move here for 11th. Let's see what happens. Both are using a lot of boost energy of ERS, and bit close there, but Druid's going to pull it off. Oh, they bang wheels! Oh, that's taken on the Kangaroo! Almost! Woo! That was close as Basketball Dan's coming in. Okay, that is going to be investigated. Oh dear, that is something that if you're a Ferrari fan, I'm sure you do not want to see that image. But anyway, it is the Aston Martin in 2nd place of Smidgy, doing a great job to get past Creations. But then again, you know, the mediums against fresh softs are going to make any driver slow, aren't they? As Thalow's had a bit of a spin. Thalow was spun right round the order. I'll just get that in a moment as I'm loading up the graphic first. But Thalow was spun all the way from 4th, 5th down to 14th. And they're on the medium tyres. They're going to have to pull an absolute miracle of the century. And if you betted on Mercedes winning, I don't think this is going to be their race so far. But I'm sure a lot of you lot would love to be proven wrong. Right, Spenny is in the lead, comfortably getting ahead of that 1 second barrier, which is to stop the driver behind using the drag reduction system. But Creations is keeping up, to be fair, on the mediums against Smidgy. And again, he doesn't need to get past yet, he just got to stay within his train and then he should be fine. Meanwhile, Hurricane is fighting off Kevin Annihilator, again doing a great job, having far more ERS than the Aston Martin driver. He's able to really cut his way through the order. But Matthew 7034 is literally sitting in the wings of this battle for 5th. As Sam has got past Pagafan, as Thalow's got past Druid, Spenny, but now Smidgy has set the fastest lap of the race with 1:30.0. The time should be starting to tumble down as qualifying fuel levels start to get back into the cars, as they obviously burn off the fuel naturally get from your driver. I hate data, you macho man Randy Savage. Anyway, with that said, here come the flaps all open nice and beautifully there with no effort, but no overtakes coming down that long straight, except for Druid making a move on Thalow. Again, Thalow's on cooked mediums. Both have lost a bit of psychological confidence, you know, deep down going into this race. But Druid needs to get a move on. But Thalow is fighting back very valiantly, to be fair, on the medium. He's going to try and go around the outside into Cops, but he thinks better of it, so good for him. Positive having to make a pit stop here. So I'm not sure what happened to the Mercedes team principal, but if they can pull a last to first off now, then I'll be impressed. Put it that way, I'll be very impressed. But Spenny is in the lead as it stands from Smidgy in 2nd, who is cutting down into that margin. It was 1.1 seconds about a lap ago, and it has now turned into 7/10, so that is a bit of a decrease there. I wonder if the McLaren got a little bit complacent, had a bit of a spinala, but saved it off camera, who knows, as Andrea is now into 15th place. Creations has set the fast lap of the race on mediums, so clearly pushing the life out of these tyres, determined to get past Creations, even though it would not be the best thing for them, because if they got past, I mean, they are holding up the Aston Martin there, who is on the fresher tyres. So let us see what happens. Smidgy is burning all of that, excuse me, ERS battery to fight against the Aston Martin with but it will ultimately serve them no good in the long run, as Basketball Dan is the first driver to receive a time penalty of 3 seconds in length this evening. Interesting lines there, as Britain is one of the most lenient tracks, one of the most extreme in Austria, where you couldn't cut a single corner, to here where you could take certain lines a bit wide and probably get away with it. As Matthew is all over the back of Kevin Annihilator, there is a great respect between these two, so I'm sure there could be some great racing up ahead. Matthew goes all the way around the outside. This is beautiful stuff. Creations has got into 2nd place. Hurricane's going to sit there, but allows Kevin through. This is some very tactical racing here. Hurricane is fighting Matthew to the end, but it might make sense to not back down, bearing in mind he is on the medium tyres, but Matthew showing a different gravy, keeping it clean with Hurricane, finally backing off, and that is a beautiful move there by the Alfa Romeo. What can the AlphaTauri driver do to respond? Bearing in mind, if he can slow him down, that could give him more of an advantage in that second part of the race, obviously. And bit of a tiny top there, but nothing too bad as far as I can understand. Thank you to all 13 of you who are watching this stream, as always. But the DRS flap is open for both cars. Let's see what they can do. No changes yet. No changes in the Audi. Upper Jerker taking an interesting line to try and get to the slipstream of the Red Bull. That Spenny has kept onto the lead there, but Matthew has made a move on Kevin Annihilator around the outside there of the second DRS train. Looks like Hurricane is going to go for a move around the outside, but thinks better of it now, knowing how good Kevin can be at defensive driving. Pepsi gets to take to the curve there and take a nice bit of a rail grinding experience. Bit of contact then, we'll see what happens between the Red Bull, as even the Red Bull has got past Pepsi. I wonder if the other AlphaTauri of Jerker could make a move on the Williams driver. A good move, but ultimately, you know, stable, bearing in mind there's no need to push him too hard. Bearing in mind his softs should start to degrade. As he's starting to feel the slip now. Definitely losing some tyre wear. Is the Williams driver going to burn all his ERS? And so is the AlphaTauri. Let's see what happens. A simple move to the inside, I bet, is what the AlphaTauri is going to do. There's less grip on the mediums, but less wear, as the head has got 3 seconds worth of time penalties. And overall around the inside, Pepsi does a great job at defending there. Nothing more to be said. That's just great driving all around. But the other AlphaTauri, meanwhile, is fighting Kevin Annihilator, I should say. Takes a nice bit of wideness to that corner, but meanwhile the front is getting very close between Spenny and Creations. Those softs are starting to degrade after 5 laps, and that is the move for the lead around the outside on the medium tyres. Starts to pay off as Creations is into the lead of this Grand Prix. Druid's got 3 seconds with the time penalties, and now Sandbadger will surely will be looking to get past Smidgy in the coming laps. But as we go through turn 4, and Spenny takes a bit of a interesting line through there, opens up the DRS flap for the first time on lap number 7 of this British feature race Grand Prix. Creations maintains the lead again. Those soft tyres were expected to go to lap 11, and the grip is going to start to fade from them now, as recommended by Jeff. The mediums were not told to us how long they could go on for, so we'll see how long they will go on for, but possibly could be until when the rain comes down, perhaps, as Creations takes a bit of a wider line there through Copse Corner. Bit of a corner cut there by the Aston Martin, but if it's legal in the game, who's to say that it is not wrong, as Sandbadger is fighting tooth and nail with Smidgy on the soft tyres. While Spenny will want to get a move on, he has dropped about 6/10, so if I was Spenny, I'd definitely make a pit stop, as Thau has now got a 3-second time penalty in the Mercedes. Definitely not something that the TP would want to see, but no pit stops yet, so Smidgy's in 3rd. Hurricane has finally got past Kevin Annihilator there. Great stuff by the AlphaTauri to move up into 6th, as Kevin has not got much ERS left, so obviously great use of ERS play by the AlphaTauri there. With that said, Kingsley Garlic will be the next to try and overtake Kevin Annihilator if and wherever possible. Oh, what the? Oh, that was a strange glitch from Positive's POV. Meanwhile, up the front, there's a change for third, it seems. As Sandbadger will finally make it work on lap number 8. He's going to try and pull it off around the inside in the Amazon Web Services sponsored Ferrari car. Smitty has to dart now around to the inside to really be defensive and shove that Ferrari wide, but I think it's going to be the Ferrari who just about pulls it off, and that's some extra driving between those two. So far, one of the overtakes the race as Pac-Fan's got a 3-second time penalty. Kingly Garlic has now gotten past the Annihilator with Pepski in 9th place there. Sitting in the tracks of the Aston Martin. He's taking a bit of a... Actually, no, it's the Red Bull this time. He's taking a bit of an interesting line there. As Spenny has got past Creations on merit there for 2nd place. Sandbadger still remains in 3rd. But the Aston Martin going to go around the inside on those softs. A bit of an aggressive move, I think. But no need to worry for now. For the Red Bull driver anyway. But the fight at the front is heating up. Spenny, despite being on 8-lap-old soft tyres, is fighting strongly against Creations on their 8-lap mediums. In terms of ERS, actually Spenny's got quite a lot of battery left compared to Creations, who does not have much, as I think Thallow was spun again. Oh yes, they've gone well off into the gravel traps. And this will be a day Mercedes will want to forget in a hurry. And speaking of hurries, Kane has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings. Anyway, Druid is being the first driver to pit. Going inside of mediums now. So could the undercut work? I think they'll be keeping an eye on what the Druid can do, as Basketball Dan should get past him. We'll see if Positive does in a moment or so, but that's not a problem. We're glad to see you back, Tom. What colour you're back in? But at the moment, the race looks like it's going to return back to being blue, as it seems, as the McLaren's got nothing to respond there. Great racing between these two, as Dan has got another 3-second time penalty, with the Williams now at the top of the timing board as it stands. We're going on to lap number 10 out of 26 of this British Grand Prix. Remember, it was part of 2 races we've done, the other one being a sprint and a full-on qualifying session. Sandbadger has set a 1:29.5. Excellent stuff there from the Ferrari drivers. Pepski and Jerk having a great old scrap down in 9th place. Fantastic to see how Jerk is managing to take some time out of the Williams there. But speaking of Williams, unfortunately I think the one who's on mediums is about to get passed by Spenny once again, who's got loads of ERS to spare over Creations. That electrical deployment system is going to play into the hands of the McLaren driver, as Kingly Garlic has now got past Hurricane, and there's no point fighting him too hard, bearing in mind the mediums will start to become more superior over the next couple of laps. But we are focusing on the fight at the front, as Phoenix got a 3-second time penalty. As Spenny takes a very interesting line through Cop's corner, but I think that's just something that pretty much all the drivers will do at this point. Thallow going on to the hards. I like what he's going to do. There's a yellow flag through Sector 1. I think it's an Alfa Romeo. It is Druid who's spun round on the exit of the pit lane, but Creations gets in front there around the outside. Beautiful stuff, nice and defensive, and the lead is back to being blue and white. Spenny is coming in. The McLaren is coming in from second in the race in the battle for the lead alongside Smidgy. So let's see, they're going to go into mediums, I'm willing to bet. So the question will be, who can get past and what tyres are they going to go on? So does Kevin Annihilator coming on lap number 9. Interestingly, with Matthew now into 3rd place. Kingly Hurricane, good job on staying up, is into 4th with Kingly Garlic in 5th and Churka in 6th. Sam there in 7th, Andrea is in 8th. Getting a bit wobbly there, but it's all fine. As Sandbadger takes the lead from Creations, and that could be very decisive. But again, Creations doesn't need to worry, because Williams in this game are going to be at the very front of the pit lane. So, you know, he could potentially, you know, hold the Ferrari up. If he can get in front out in time of the faster pit stop, he could end up in front on track of the Ferrari powered cars. Whoa, excuse me. further back. Jerker is defending well from Sam and Andrea. It seems, yeah, good stuff so far, but I think Andrea is going to be making a move for P8 here in their nice and orange decked out helmet. In tribute, I'm sure, to the Paella livery the McLaren has, as their internet's taking them a little bit through an earthquake, it seems. But they're going to get it done around the inside there. Beautiful stuff from the Italian there. So we'll see if Hurricane pits. I don't think there's need to now, but I think they're going to do it anyway. So make sure they speed down for the pit limiter. Excellent stuff. They will now be dropping down to 5th minimum as Jerker takes over that position. So Sandbadger leads from Creations, and then a Matthew who is only 6 seconds behind. If these two fight, then you know Matthew's going to catch up faster. They need to try and delay the inevitable if possible, save their tyre wear, and stop fighting. Basically prepare for the fast charging Matthew, who is burning through their resources, along with Kingly Garlic, who's not got much ERS left compared to the AlphaTauri driver of Jerker, who's fighting off Andrea on 11 lap softs, as Jerker gives plenty of room in respect to the internet connection, which is what you love to see. I think there's a Ferrari off there. It's Armour Kinga! Oh, it's just been one of those days for the Ferrari team principal. They want to forget in a hurry. At least they could take solace knowing that their other driver is leading this Grand Prix as it stands, but they've yet to make a pit stop. The driver in front, out of the pitted crew, so far is Spenny F1, so it's all good for the McLaren boys at the moment. The medium runner's step, there's a yellow flag. Thalow's retired on the hards. Is there going to be a safety car? Yes, there's a safety car once again. And Thalow was retired from the Grand Prix. I think it's it's turn 2. Always catches everybody out. There he is, just peeled away in the corner like a peeled P50. Yeah. Oh, wow. Surely, yeah. Matthew, Kingley, Andrea, Jerker all taking advantage, and so they should. Fair play to Andrea for doing that on a set of softs of all tyres. How he pulled that one off, I'll have no idea, given the fact he crashed out in qualifying. But fair play none the same. He gets holed up in the pits lane, but let's see how the order shuffles out. Matthew's going to come in. Fair enough, I do not blame him. So, Spenny with the undercut though, dodges the pit lane karma and ends up on track in front. And I know it's not the kind of soft tyres like what most of them are going for, but it's still relatively fresh rubber. So, yeah. It might not even be that bad if the softs cool down. Excuse me. I'm obviously running out of oxygen at the moment, but let's run through the order regardless. We've got Sandbadger at the front. Him and Creations I do not think will pit now. They will just try and pray until the rain comes down, let's be honest. Spenny's in third on a 1-lap set of mediums, who's undercutted basically everybody else, including Matthew 7034 and Kingly Garlic, who are on softs. Andrea 330 on the medium tyres. Jerker going onto a set of softs. Hurricane onto a set of mediums. Excellent stuff there by the AlphaTauri boys. The head is in 9th on a set of mediums, with Pakafan 10th on a set of softs. Smidgy 11 is on a set of soft tyres, with Pepski on a set of softs as well, with Kevin Annihilator on a set of fresh softs, on with Almakinga. Sam with Positive going on to a set of fresh mediums. Basketball Dan, Druid on fresh set of softs, with Phoenix taking a fresh into mediums. And Thalow being the driver to retire, and Sandbadger and Creations are coming in. And Sandbadger's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane! In the pit lane, I should say. Oh, that's just the cherry on the poop sundae. The poop sundae with Cadbury's Dairy Milk as the flavour of the sundae. If you're a Ferrari fan, it's going to be a set of red wall tyres for the red coloured car. I'll see what the Williams is doing. The Williams is also going to go to set of softs, but gets blocked in the pits by the Ferrari. So it is Spenny F1 in the lead from Matthew 7034 on a set of soft tyres, from Kingly Garlic on a set of softs. Andrea go into a mediums. Jerker's on the softs. Hurricane is on the mediums, with the head on the mediums. If I had a team Right, where the driver was on soft and the other one was in mediums behind. I told the one on mediums behind to defend like a lion. Make sure the plan comes into fruition. But there is supposed to be potentially a set of rain coming down, so we'll see what happens. Positive is pitting again. Phoenix has got a 5-second time penalty for colliding with the literal head. Though I'm not sure how you could collide with the floating head if there's nothing else on the body, but each to their own. As Phoenix is now stuck in the queue, so I think they're going to have to dart out the way, surely. I know they've teleported behind Creations an entire lap down, who... Oh yeah, Phoenix's internet's a little bit jittery at the moment. So, let's read through some of your comments. Oh, I know I'm back. So then, stream chat, whilst we're waiting for the grid to catch up, how have you enjoyed the first half of this British Grand Prix feature race so far? Any questions you would want to ask live on the commentary team, you can do so on stream chat or on the YouTube videos. You can type in the timestamp that you're seeing below and the kind of minute code thing and just answer whatever questions you want. And I'm sure the HTR Racing team will be getting back in touch with you very soon. Intense! This is Grand Prix. I do not blame you. It has been an intense Grand Prix, both on and off the track there. Definitely so. I couldn't agree with you more on that one. I will check to see if there's any kind of scoop as Phoenix has retired from the session. Either in the pits or a crash, we will not know. But sadly, that means Haas are only one team, got only one driver standing. Alongside Mercedes, are the second team this Grand Prix to have only one driver left in the Grand Prix. And trying to look through the chats. Oh, apparently, I think the reason for the safety car was caused by a rear ending. Somehow. Interesting. Interesting. So, could be some controversial stuff to go on. How to commentate this? Well, that's a good question, Grumpy, and you'll have to learn that on your own. We have lap O on. We do have the lap on as lap number 15. In terms of penalties, before you all ask, Kingly Garlic has got a 5-second time penalty. Hurricane has got 3 seconds along with the head and Packfan. Simon Badger's got 5 seconds. King has got 3 seconds. Basketball Dan's got 11 seconds. Druid's got 3 along with. So, let us see if we are now finally going to have the necessary, yep, it is coming in this lap, the necessary message when all the cars are all bunched up. And now, Spenny has to lead the grid away. Bearing in mind, he's got to be tactical. He knows that Matthew and Garlic, but Garlic might want to peel in straight away, but Matthew can certainly catch up to Spenny. As Spenny's gone now, I think. He's gone. He's straight up bluffed Matthew, who's gone. And there's nothing Spenny can do about that. Oh, he's backing off deliberately. I see. He did do a dummy go, and now he's going to go for the full time round. He's gone horribly wide there, but gets away with it because he is leading, until when the green flag starts. He goes horribly wide again, into the wall. I think his controller might disconnected. Is he going to take out someone? No, but that's choked in the lead. He's bottled the lead in traumatic circumstances there. But Matthew is now into the lead as there's a bit of touching with the other McLaren, and Kingly Garlic here. Guys, Andrea told him to back off because he knows that Garlic has to serve a penalty. Meanwhile, Jerker's just sitting there with all the popcorn in the world, knowing this view is happening in front of him. And there's contact! The Red Bull and McLaren are taking each other out! Oh, and they're not out the race, but that's pushed the AlphaTauris into a double podium here. And the head, well, head-butting Andrea, it seems, all the other way around. But anyway, what can you say? I think he got a knock it on the head. That one on commentary. But anyway, I'll shut up with the head puns. I've got no more to give out right now. Kingly Garlic is in 4th, with Andrea in 5th, fighting off the Aston Martin, who clearly slices his way through, and the confidence of the Italian has been absolutely shattered, it seems. And the other McLaren of Spenny is round, so he's at the back of the pack in position 18 as it stands. But Andrea is in 6th place now and has got a lot of work to do if they want to get themselves back into this race. But they've just got to survive, basically, because they're on the medium tyres. And not the softs. Meanwhile, the Williams having a great old scrapping between Pepsi and Creations, as Matthew was set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:29.3. Oh, interestingly, both Spenny and Pakafan are coming in. Jerker is hounding down Matthew 7:03.4. Again, you want to be in the DRS tracks. Again, both drivers are absolutely trying to burn ERS, but Matthew has stopped, though, on the straight. So he's boosting through the corners and not on the straights. Whereas Jerker's probably a little bit more keen, I can see through the cockpit lens. Whilst Hurricane's doing an excellent job at defending, like a lion, from the likes of Kingly Garlic and Smidgy and Sandbadger, which is what you love to see. But alas, it is going to be, at the moment, an Alpha 1-2-3 as it stands. I do not blame you, Tom. I do not blame you for feeling bad about it, but he can still turn it around. There are 9 laps to go. It is not at all out of the possibility. Of course, with it being a wider circuit, it's obviously going to make it slightly harder with your psychological confidence destroyed. That is for certain. As Creations is getting a nice move on Armour King of that, down in 11th place. Smidgy and Kingly Garlic nearly collided there for 4th place. But they successfully make it around that corner on the 2nd DRS straight. As Matthew is just setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. He's really turning on the heat to the Tier 2 Vice Champion. But if anything, there's no point in him burning any ERS since he's got a bit less than Matthew as it stands. As the race complexion has changed entirely on its head. Meanwhile, Hurricane is defending like a lion. Probably want to dart down to the middle now to defend from the other Honda powered car of Kingly Garlic in the race contention for a podium. Again, no need to fight him too hard. He has got that penalty, remember. So it's not the end of the world, but a nice way to slow him down on the middle of the corner there. Not a bad outcome. Meanwhile, Smidgy is fighting off the Sandbadger, who has got penalties himself, the Ferrari driver does. And so, interestingly, the Tottenham supporter is allowing the Ferrari driver to come through. Again, controlling the race there. A little bit of car juggling is what you love to see from the AlphaTauri driver, as Sandbadger gets a little bit out of shape, probably lost in the psychological dirt tracks there, as that tyre's got a little bit dirty and they have got a penalty. So obviously in the long term there's no need to defend so hard, but I understand now. Bear in mind those softs should start to be wearing out in the next 2 laps for Sandbadger, but he's going to make a move around the inside. Very easy, as the McLaren goes for a move on Andrea in the background, but no, whoa, Sandbadger just came in like a wrecking ball, but didn't destruct. The AlphaTauri driver just kept him on the ground as he's using way too much ERS. So Spenny's got a 3-second time penalty. There's a yellow flag. Basketball Dan is retired. Is that going to be a safety car or a virtual? Anything? Anything? No, I don't think it's going to be anything, which is what the race leaders probably want, as the soft tyres will start to fade away in the next 2-3 laps or so. But Sector 3 is going to be under massive caution as Dan has slammed themselves off the court of this Grand Prix indeed. Sad circumstances really for the Alpine team there, on with the Mercedes and the Ferrari one at the moment. But Spenny is at the fast lap of the race with a 1:28.4. They are not down and out. They are determined to fight their way back through the order, as Hurricane's next job on his defensive hit list is Smidgy. Let's see what he can do against the current Tier 1 provisional champion this season. Currently sits atop of the standings. A little bit of a love tap from behind, but there's nothing much the Tottenham supporter can do. Even Andrea's going to get past, and there's nothing much he can do but just sit back and just wait for his chance to strike. I think I'll tell him to start saving more ERS because he's just burning through way too much. But interestingly, Matthew's kept around 80% of his ERS battery, compared to the guy behind's roughly 70 odd, or 60 odd I should say. But Kingly Garlic has not got that much, so it is all good. Along with Sam Badger, Smidgey's got around 30-40 odd percent, with Andrea having hardly any as well, and there's only just a couple of laps left to go in this Grand Prix. As Pepski has got past the head there for 9th place, but the head is retaliating as Jerk has got a 3-second time penalty. Yo, wowzers and mid-trousers, that's going to throw a spanner into the works for Matthew. This is exactly what he wants. All he's got to do now is keep it very calm, very collected, like he usually does, and this will be one of his most impressive drives, getting taken out on turn 3 of the sprint race and coming back to first, from second to last to first. It's the stuff of a champion, that's all I can really say. But now it's a bit of a defensive job now from behind. If you are the AlphaTauri driver, bear in mind he's got lots of ERS to burn compared to Garlic's none, so there's no need to waste it at this point in time, as the head's got another 3-second time penalty. Andrea getting past Smidgey there, whose minions will start to come in handy actually as the stint goes on. I wouldn't knock Andrea off the podium just yet. I'd say if anything it's quite probable actually that he could get onto the podium, as he is within an earshot of the battle for 2nd place. So let us see what happens. Hallucinate data, you're not terribly wrong. You know, gets Punter-rooned and then unlocks his beast mode, you know what I'm saying? I mean, fair play to Matthew on that one. As Phoenix has left the session, I do not blame them for retiring so early on. But again, there's no need to boost so hard, AlphaTauri, because we know the Red Bull has got hardly any battery left, actually. Had like 10%, but the Ferrari behind has got way more than the AlphaTauri, whilst Andrea is pushing a little bit too hard probably for their systems. So let us see what happens. Again, Garlic is just very desperate. He's trying a very attacking strategy, but as such it will drain his tyre wear come the end of the race. And remember, his penalty is worth 5 seconds worth compared to Sam, and Sam Badger's got 5-second penalty. So if Jerker wanted to, he could let the Red Bull through, and by 2 seconds, along with Sam Badger, and still end up taking a second. There's a yellow flag there. I think it's an Aston Martin. Oh, actually it's Pakistan there, going a little bit wide. As Kaylee Garlic's going to go around the inside there. Oh! Nearly contact between the Red Bull sponsored cars, but Jerker's going to try it up the inside, gets a bit of a love tap. And Sam Badger's going to sneak right through, but again, it's not the end of the world. There's still 3 laps to go, actually 4 laps to go of this British feature race, and at the end of the day, they've got more penalties. As long as he can stay within this queue, he's got at least a P2, if not a P3, if Andrea does get past on those fresher medium tyres. Andrea's going to make the move around the inside, and fair play. Great! Whoa! His internet pushed Jerker a little bit too wide there. I think the stewards might have something to say about that one, but there could be a team switcheroo on the cards here to see what the Tottenham supporter could do. But if they cannot gain any places, I would put the stipulation onto my own drivers. They have to give it back if they cannot achieve anything. This positive gets a 3-second time penalty because the head is coming in like a wrecking ball and ruining it all. God damn, that is some aggressive driving for the sake of it. Wowzers, they've got a couple of interesting habits. I think this is literally no man's land, but fair play to Positive, still fighting it through, along with Sam, and they have both successfully gotten past the head there. Stuff I'm sure most of you enjoy seeing, a good old double pass. But meanwhile, the battle for 4th rages on, as it seems to be that Andrea is into 4th at the moment, with Smidgey in 5th and Croatians in 6th. Again, 2 AlphaTauri boys, they're not down and out of this just yet. I mean, listen, Jeff is the most proest and professional weather reporter I've ever seen, but remember, it was an insider who told us about the possibility of wet weather, so we cannot hold Jeff to that height of accountability. As Spenny has gone off, all the psychological confidence destroyed at one end of the McLaren campus, but meanwhile the other one is actually doing pretty solidly here. P4 on the road, Spenny is retired on the track. I think they might have torpedoed into the wall. Is this going to be a late safety car? No, it is not. It is not a late safety car, which means Matthew can still continue to run with the lead. Sam Badger can continue to remain in second, with the Garlic chasing him down in third. Andrea is in fourth, with Smidgey in fifth, Creations in sixth. But Jerker doing a good job here, as Hurricane probably needs to save a bit of battery, if anything, if I'm being really honest here, compared to Pep's giving way more than he can dream of. But this is turning into a bit of a Williams-AlphaTauri battle here in sixth place, but it could be including an Aston Martin in a moment if the Williams cannot get past the Aston Martin, then the green cars will not be involved in this fight. For fifth place potentially, but now is going to be the move, I think, for Creations, but no reward just yet. Kingsley Garlic is holding up a very nice train here as a new full-time Red Bull driver. Here comes the third to last lap of this Grand Prix. Yes, it's almost as if Jeff is reporting in the real world there, Data. But anyway, Andrea's internet is a little bit twitchy, as we can see. But Kingsley Garlic's got no ERS along with Andrea, but this is his chance to make the move, and he has successfully done it on the Red Bull. Marvellous stuff there from the Italian. And whilst there could be penalties that could sanction him down the order with the collision with Jerko, I think overall that could be a decisive strike in the fight in the championship. Meanwhile, all drivers have got very little ERS here, so again it's worth probably saving it until the last lap or so, until when that opportunity is called upon for the W. As this fight for third is incredibly epic, if I do say so myself. Maybe not as not legendary like the Austrian race at the moment, but we'll see what happens here as the McLaren nearly gets a bit too twitchy with the Red Bull, but it's okay. Andrea's still hot onto third, Garlic's still in fourth, Smidgey's still in fifth, Creation's still in sixth, and the AlphaTauris are in seventh and eighth in this fight. Meanwhile, we got 2 laps to go. For context, Matthew. Oh, I was going to say, I thought he was my Druid. I was thinking, whoa, Matthew is dominated to an extreme amount. But no, not yet. He's only coming through now. The left-hander with Spenny's left the session. I do not blame him in the slightest. But Sandbagger, after doing a great strategy masterclass in Austria, will look like to, on merit, on top of on merit last time, take another podium, as it is a 3-second time penalty for Pakistan, something you hate to see, and for the American who was down in last. But if Kevin Annihilator pits, if I just check from the leader graphic, they'll stock him in position as Sam Badger's got another 3-second time penalty. Now that puts him onto 8 seconds. That could easily give Andrea the position and certainly allow the cars behind in this little squabble here for third place to easily take second here, putting even more pride on the line for this fight, as Andrea's only got 3 seconds compared to Garlic and Sandbadger's 8 respectively. That could be applied more, as there's a Ferrari off in the distance. I think it's Makinga, and yeah, this is going to be a race I think they'll want to forget very quickly. But Matthew leads from Sandbadger on the final lap of the British feature race, and Andrea is in third with another 3-second time penalty. That's put them up to 6 now. They've still got a 2-second advantage, but they need to find now 1.4 seconds with somewhat stable internet if they want to get second place of this British feature race on the road. Meanwhile, Smidgey is looking very poised to take a second place finish with Creations in third. Let's see what happens now. First of all, no moves for third, fourth, fifth, sixth is not quite getting any moves. Well, 7th is not either, and 8th is a little bit too out of the fight, but that's not a bad thing. I just tell the driver in 8th to just park it at this point. Do a nice Sunday drive home. But the head has got another 3-second time penalty, and yeah, that's probably some questionable stuff. As Andrea takes the corner, very risky biscuit style, but it all worked out in the end. Then we've got the Kingly Garlic in 4th place. Everybody successfully in this little pack making it through into this final long straight. Andrea is using what little he has left. Kingly Garlic is using what little they have left. But it doesn't really matter, as despite Hurricane getting past, because Jerker has spun, it has been a flawless day for Matthew 7034. Got punted at turn 3, came back to win. Your race winner, Matthew 7034, in one of the most impressive drives I think we've seen in HTR. A second to last to first. You can't really get much more dominant than that. Smidgey will take second on the road. Creations gets a surprising podium there in 3rd. Sam Badger did well in 4th there. Andrea in 5th. Hurricane in 6th. Jerk has seen what spun on the last lap though, which I'm kind of sad by, but it's only 2 positions in the end. If they bottled it, it's the one time it didn't matter, but there could have been contact, so I won't hold any judgment just yet. Pepski in 7th, Kingly Garlic in 8th. Sam, surprisingly, got a good result for Haas in 9th, as Jerker is in 10th. Positive, covered well in 11th. The Head in 12th. Druid will be coming across the line for 13th. Armour King at 14th. Kevin Later 15th. And Packfan in 16th, with Spenny, Basketball Dan, Phoenix and Thallow all retiring from the race. First of all, I will show you all the race directory. Here we go. Here we go. This is going to be a long one. I think we're getting a lot of celebratory messages from Matthew, and I don't blame him. I mean, seriously, that was a genuinely impressive drive. I'm not even going to deny that one. I'm not even a... my team is AlphaTauri, but I gotta admit, you can see why Matthew's a champion. I will never deny that one. And your driver of the day is Andrea330, as we let you enjoy the podium celebrations. And with that said, I have been your Fadoodle, and thank you ever so much for watching the stream.